Hello, today what we're going to talk about is configure, price, and quote. The thing is, there's a lot more to that than just those three words. What we're going to do is, I've kind of designed it to where we're going to take a look at a business, and there's a couple of issues that they have, and then we're going to try to resolve those for them with some of the things that are contained in this presentation. So, if we take a look at this list of issues, well, first off, I'll tell you a little bit about Lawton. So Lawton is a company that sells server and networking equipment and does installs. One of the issues that they have, well, there's three of them right here. We want better visibility when it comes to high value sales. Our reps fail to remember volume discounts and sale dates. And we're also missing upselling opportunities and forgetting packaged items. So those are some pretty common issues. There's a few things in the CRM we can do to help them out. So let's go ahead and start with that first specific point. We want better visibility for high value sales. So Lawton's issue specifically, their managers have a really easy time following deal analytics, but they don't actually see the records that are moving, the related records that are moving those deals. The other part is that there's not enough visibility when they have high value sales, and they want better control over that. So what's CRM's solution to that? That's going to be an approval process. And I've heard that you guys have already kind of talked about that a little bit today, so we can maybe move through that one pretty quickly. But it is a cool feature. It's automations where you can define the process. You can define the process to identify sales that you want to keep a closer eye on. Additionally, you can automate and send follow-ups, keep everybody in the loop, better visibility for those high-value sales. So this here is an approval process that I've set up. I feel like you guys have seen this set up a couple of times, just given what we've gone over today, but I'll go through it with you one more time in case you're unfamiliar. So this approval process over here on the right side, if this is configured for the quotes module, if a quote has a grand total that is equal to or greater than $10,000, and the quote stage is draft, negotiation, or not approved, that is my criteria for this. This will trigger that. The manager will need to approve this quote, the manager for the requester, that is. And then I have all of my actions for approval. Basically, it just creates a task, and it goes ahead and sends an email to that person to let them know that it's been approved. Same thing for our rejection. There's a update to the quote stage to let them know that it has been not approved. And then there's also an email that goes out with that. What we'll do is I'll go ahead and take a look and demonstrate that for you. And what I want to do is take a look at it from two different sides. That's going to be the user side and then the manager side. So on the user side, in our quotes, you can see right here that this funny little icon indicates that this quote has been prepared and is in a stage where it is locked. It needs approval. What I can do is I can go over to the side, and if I'm the user, I can see who exactly needs to approve that for me. Moving over to the manager side, this My Jobs tab here, we can take a look at our approval processes, and I can see that same quote that we were just viewing, and I have the option to approve, delegate, or reject from here. So I can approve that and leave a comment, let them know that we're ready to go ahead. I can delegate this action to another person, or I can reject that, leave a comment, and let them know why I didn't approve of that quote. If I take a moment to approve, I can go ahead and leave my comment here, and just in case this hasn't been seen in a presentation before, if I'm on the record, we have this banner at the top. This is what it looks like for the manager or the person who is approving. I can respond from here, and it's just letting me know it's waiting for my approval. And if I like what I see, I can go ahead and approve and leave my comment. So, taking a look back at our slides, let's go ahead and talk about another issue that Lawton is facing and what we're going to do to help them solve that. So, CPQ is a rather robust, not just feature, but set of features in the CRM, and it consists of three parts. That's going to be the price rules, the product configurator, and guided selling. I want you to keep these in mind as we go through these next couple of slides. The first one that we're going to start with is price rules. So you remember we talked about Lawton's issue. Our reps fail to remember all sorts of things. We're all human, right? Not a big deal. What we can do is we can help to fix that. So Specifically, their team forgets to add bulk pricing discounts, and they also have to send out multiple reminder emails to remind of sale periods. And so that's resulting in issues in quoting, and we want to go ahead and resolve that. Our solution to that is going to be price rules. Price rules automate bulk pricing. You can customize those rules with criteria, and you can also set discounts based on that criteria. And then here, this is just configuring a price rule. And so what we're doing is we're selecting our item here, and then after we've selected the item, we're going to go ahead and create a set of criteria. So specifically, if this item is added to a quote between the dates of June 1st and June 30th, then what we want to do is we want to calculate a discount. So the discount is $70 when the quantity range is between 5 and 9. We can set another rule. The discount is $140 whenever the quantity is between 10 and 14. And then finally, $210 when the quantity range is between 15 and 20. Now we'll take a look at what it looks like on an actual quote. So I'll go ahead and add that roll of Cat5 cable that we talked about earlier. And the first quantity we're going to put in is 6. That's going to be our first volume discount. As we save, we can see that CPQ has made a discount change to it and adds that right there into the subform. And if we hover over that little information bubble, it tells us what price rule changed that. We'll look at it one more time. Instead, let's take a look at a different volume discount. How about for a quantity of 14? And you can see our discount has been applied, that 140. We won't do the next one. I think that you probably get the point from here now. But yeah, this is essentially how those price rules work in a nutshell. So we've covered 2 of LaTeX specific issues. The last one I want to go ahead and cover for just this part is we are missing related items. So sometimes it is hard to remember what items go with one another. If you have a vast product catalog, sometimes it's going to be hard to go and find exactly what it is, especially if you have something uploaded where your products have a lot of samey names. You can mitigate that by setting up the product configurator. Another part of their issue is that, how do I know when a customer wants a complementary or related product? How am I supposed to remember what even those are? So CRM's solution to that is the product configurator. You can automatically add items to quotes so that nothing gets left behind on those. The cool part about it is the whole process is essentially automated. You don't have to do any additional clicking to find those. It will remember what you've set the rules up for and then add those mandatory items. Not only will it add mandatory items, it'll add suggested items as well. So there's no guesswork in it. If you want to know what's related and what you could potentially offer your customer when you're creating a sale for them or when you're creating a quote for them, those items will pop up, let you know that they're there and available and related to something that you've put in that subform. And so I will go ahead and demo this here in just a second, but this is an example of setting up the CPQ product configurator. It's exactly like the price rules. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to select our product. I've chosen a specific product, and it's going to be this NAS system and this server. So when either one of those, we're going to change this to or, when either one of those is added to a quote, what we want to do is add some mandatory products. And we do have to go through and select them one by one, but that's because they are configurable after the fact. So we added one, and then we will add this next one. We can choose to add that one as free, and then we're choosing what field we're choosing to mark as 0. And then that's it for our mandatory items. What we're going to do is add some suggested items as well. So these won't be mandatorily added to the quote, but these will be suggested after the quote is saved because they are related to the items that you have picked and are on your current quote. And boom. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like in the system as it runs, as you use these rules while you're creating a quote. So let's just start with a fresh one. And so here I am in the quote screen. I'm going to go ahead and create us a quote. There we go. All right. And so as we go down, we can select a couple of products. Remember, the two products that we have this configured on are the NAS and the server. And I can choose either one or both of them. They're both going to apply here. We chose or in that rule, so either of them can be added to this quote to result in those changes. I'm quite partial to the NAS because I don't have to scroll any further from here, and we can go ahead and save this quote, and we'll watch what happens. As you save this quote, if you have a mandatory item that is added, CPQ, before you change the quote, is actually going to pop up and show you, hey, we have a couple of changes to make here. You've triggered a rule. And then if you want to know more about that, you can hover over this little information bubble. It tells you exactly why it's changing that. And so it's related to a product configurator rule, and then it gives me the name of the rule for that. And we're still not done. As we save this quote, if we scroll down to the bottom where the subform is located, we have those suggested items that were on the exact same rule here, and I have the option to go ahead and add those to my quote. And so let's say that I'm having a conversation with the customer. I see these related items are here. It clues me into something that could be helpful for them. Hey, would you perhaps maybe like a cable manager to go with what you're ordering today? Absolutely. We can choose that, and then we can add it to the quote. And if we give this just a second, I'm sure you guys believe me, but, I like to show. And then there's that cable manager right there. So moving on from here, there we go. Just had to get mad at it real quick. All right, so this is not necessarily related to LawTech's specific issues, but guided selling is a part of the CPQ, and I feel like it's worth mentioning because it is a very powerful tool. So what if you happen to have a customer who is very picky? They know exactly what they want, but they don't know what the actual thing that contains what they want is. Or what if you have somebody who kind of knows what some of their preferences are? They're not super specific. They're not very good at telling you what exact item you have that would fulfill their needs. What we can do is we can employ guided selling. So guided selling is a set of predefined questions that you can use on a quote and go through to narrow down to specific products in order to find that perfect one that meets your customer's needs. The next page is an example of an apparel company that's looking for a product. What we'll do is I'll play that video, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in that video. So we'll start out on a quote. And then as we scroll down, there is a guided selling button there at the bottom to where we can pick the type of guided selling questions we want. Specifically, we're looking at watches. So is this watch waterproof? Yes. How about the color? Blue? Perfect. And as we proceed on with these questions, we are narrowing down the products, the entire product list, based on what we're inputting here. And as we move along, we're filling out those other specifics, and eventually we will get down to the bottom of it, and we will have an item that's ready for us to pick that meets all of that criteria. And there we go. Zilker's Men Blue Dial Silicone Multifunction Watch meets all of those criteria that we input. So remember, 3 parts to CPQ: price rules, product configurator, guided selling. Now back to LawTech and their issues, because they've got tons of them. So a couple of the other issues that they have, not specifically related to quoting, are that they have to go outside their platform, the CRM platform that is, for multiple things like signatures and for payment. Nobody ever remembers to upload the signed contracts from the CRM to nobody ever remembers to upload the signed contracts back into the CRM so that they can be visible on those records. And our sales team also forgets to forward the CRM invoices to our finance team, who also works on another platform. Big issue. Everybody's forgetful. It's not that big of a deal, but it is definitely frustrating. So just to recap on these specific issues, we use a third-party document signing platform. We forget to upload those back into the CRM. The finance team works in another application, and the CRM invoices have to be put there manually. So CRM's solution to this is a couple of integrations. One with Zoho Sign, that's our document signing platform, and the other is with the Zoho Finance integration to bring Zoho Books into the mix. First, we'll take a look at Zoho Sign. So this is a predefined email template. This is just the bottom of a regular CRM invoice template that has the terms and conditions there at the bottom. We can add our signature field, and then we can add our date field, but that's not all. We have other fields that you can use to have your customer interact with and fill that back. So you got some checkboxes there on the bottom, add some checkboxes for them to interact with. There are a few other things that are in there like image upload fields and stuff like that too. The best part about this, besides the convenience of them being able to sign, is the fact that whenever those documents get returned to the CRM, they go into a nice little related list at the bottom of the record from where they originated. So if we click that Send with Zoho Sign button at the top of a record, whenever that document comes back, it's going to show up in the related list for where you sent that from. So integrating with Zoho Books. So for our finance team's issue, what we want to do is we want to bring CRM and books together. You can share invoices, estimates, sales orders, purchase orders, and all of that good information between CRM and books. They sync across both applications. Also, your contacts, your contacts list and your products list in CRM and books, it can also sync, and those will always be linked together and the same as well. Perhaps the best part about books and linking that with the CRM is you have the ability to have a payment portal in books. So if books and CRM is connected, essentially your CRM is connected to a payment portal. So books will take payment in the form of, or I should say, allow your customers to offer payment in the form of credit cards, PayPal, ACH, and others. And those others for payment gateways are listed there at the bottom. Some really popular ones like Stripe and Square. If you're not familiar with what CRM and books invoices look like when you have this tied together, this is the Zoho Finance tab, and we are viewing an estimate within there. So this is a nice tied up, pretty looking estimate. This is exactly what they look like in Zoho Books. And so when you have this integration, these also show up in CRM. And so now we can go ahead and take a look at that. The first thing we'll do is we'll take a look at that Zoho Sign integration. So if I go to an invoice, and I want to go ahead and send that invoice out for signing, I have this nice little button up here at the top for sending with Zoho Sign, and I can click on that. It should bring up an interface for me to go ahead and select the template that I want, who is signing, and then put my signature fields. So I'm going to choose to use a CRM template, and I want to use that from the invoices module. I have one invoice template that has that terms of service there at the bottom. And as I create this, it'll go ahead and pull that document into here, and I have my recipients. If I want to add multiple recipients to this, I can do that, but this is the only person contained on this quote, and so I will go ahead and let that person sign this. And as I click next, it's going to bring me into a preview screen where I'm going to get to take a look at the actual invoice template. And once again, I have the option to add a recipient if I forgot it in the previous page. And now I'm going to go ahead and continue and scroll down a little bit. And now I can take this signature field and put it here. And I'll go ahead and include a sign date so that whenever this is signed, that date gets filled out. And then we will send that off. It's going to ask me for one more confirmation. 2 fields. This is my recipient. Good to go. All right. And the cool part is, if this email will come through, this is the side of the customer. So you'll actually get to see what that email looks like when it arrives. So Ruby has sent that email. It's showed up in this inbox. And now I, as the customer, can go ahead and start signing. And as I proceed to the document, hey, that looks familiar, doesn't it? I can go ahead and confirm and agree and continue, and now I'm free to go ahead and sign this. So I can place my signature in here. There's a couple of predefined ones, or I can draw. That would be a nightmare to do on this trackpad, but if you are looking for mobile functionality, the draw feature works on mobile, which is great. For me and my chicken scratch and this trackpad, I think I'm just going to select one of these pretty looking predefined ones. And as I fill that out, it goes ahead and fills in the sign date field. And now I may go ahead and finish this. And what we'll do is on the invoice that I sent this from, I should be able to refresh and then see that show up down in the Zoho sign document section here at the bottom. Yeah, so out for signature, this one has been, it hasn't updated the status yet, but as I go here, we should be able to find that it has been signed, and it should have an attachment for a signed, yeah. So cool. Our signed PDF has returned, and you can see this, our signature shows up here at the bottom, and then we've got our date here. I think this may be a previously returned one, but I think you get the point. So we can take a look at those. Those are uploaded back into the CRM. We don't have to remember to upload those back in. Those automatically come back as soon as the signing is finished. And then I think we can maybe touch on the books integration very quickly. So here I have our CRM pulled up, and if I pull up the Zoho Finance module, you can see that I have invoices, estimates, sales orders, purchase orders, all up here at the top. And specifically, I'm taking a look at invoice number 20. And so yeah, this is our invoice. This is what that looks like when displayed in the CRM. A little bit different from the regular CRM templates when you have the integration active. And if I want to take a look at our invoices and find invoice number 20, these are all the same invoices that we're looking at over here in the CRM as well. So here's that invoice number 20. It's nice, it's shared between the two platforms. There is no having to take that, push that back to our finance team. Those are shared automatically, and they're always available there for them. And so that is all I have for you.